Hey everyone, welcome back to dansfarah.com. Again, that website address is dansfarah.com. This is a place where I interview entrepreneurs, athletes, musicians, and today I got two, maybe three of those categories filled. And that's Walter McCarty. Many of you may know him as an NCAA champion with the Kentucky Wildcats. He also played for the Celtics and my future team, the Clippers. You had a brief stint with the Clippers, right?
Yes, I finished up with the Clippers.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. That was like in '06.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and now Walter's got his own record label. Actually, you've had it since 2003, right?
Yeah, we've had a couple. We've had it used to be Ice Storm, and as we've gotten more into the business, we switched it to Hit Boys.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about that because I know your first album came out in 2003.
Right.
And you were still playing then, right? So was that always something you wanted to do even before you started playing with singing?
Yeah, it was always something I've wanted to do. I've been doing this. I've been doing it since I was a kid, growing up in the church, singing at a very young age, and all through high school, singing in concert choir and singing in church at school, and hanging out in the hallways and the corners, singing with my buddies. So it was definitely something I always wanted to do. Even when I got to college, I always did music, snuck into the recital halls and practiced on piano, things of that nature. And finally, in 2003, I recorded my first album. I didn't promote it too much. I just did it because it's something I wanted to do.
Right.
And had a lot of fun doing it and learned a lot from doing it. And from then on, I've just always continued to write and produce music.
So you definitely had this as your career for when you were done with the NBA. You knew that going in.
Oh, definitely. Music has always been a big passion of mine. I just been fortunate enough to grow to be 6'11", so didn't hurt.
Right. Now let's talk a little bit about athletes who become entertainers. I know there was a lot of NBA players who wanted to rap, and I mean, does the NBA prepare you as far as being an entrepreneur and like starting your own business when you're done? Are there programs that they have in place for you to kind of invest your money if you want to start your own business, or do they kind of leave that up to you?
I think a lot of the times they pretty much leave it up to you, but they do have places and people you can talk to if that's something you're interested in doing. Unfortunately, a lot of guys don't do it. A lot of people want to do things their way, and they do have programs, people you can speak to, and internships and things of that nature that you can do that they can get you involved with before you try your hand in it. So they do make that type of stuff available, but unfortunately enough players don't do it.
Now, did you actually take part in those courses, I guess, or programs?
I did not, but I did with the NBA. A lot of people that the connections that they have, link up with people who've been in the business and be able to speak to them about it. But it's pretty much it's all trial and error, pretty much. I mean, either you got it or you don't. Or if you're serious about your craft and about your passion, and you put into as much as you do, playing basketball and those things like that, I mean, you can be very successful. But if it's just a hobby, or if it's just something you think you're going to try to make a quick buck off of, you're probably going to lose big time.
Yeah. Now, just tell us a little bit about the label. How's it doing? And then we'll get into a little bit of the music industry and how people can be successful with their own music company.
Well, it's doing well. We've been very fortunate enough to secure a distribution deal through Bronx Bridge Entertainment in Fontana, which is Universal Music's independent label. And it's just something that independent artists, strive to do. They want to get distribution that solidifies you and lets you know that you're doing something right. So we were able to do a 2-album deal with the Bronx Bridge through Fontana, but also we have other artists that we're working on and we're developing. So hopefully, after we get out of this deal, we can go strictly to Fontana and hopefully make a demand. Hey, we've done this, we've been this successful, and hopefully, even become a bigger company.
Yeah. Now, do you have artists on your label right now, or do you plan to sign them in the future?
We have artists that are working very close to our label that we're thinking about signing. It's one of those things where we're trying to develop them and see if we have something. We don't want to sign artists and put a lot into it and have nothing and be obligated to stick with this artist or obligated to put something out. We want to develop these artists, have them record and just see how it goes, see how they grow and mature as artists. And if we think we have something there, then we'll sign it and we'll move forward to putting the music out.
Yeah, so it seems like, your basketball career kind of launched your music, and like I said, you've started that from 2003 and beyond. Do you see players, back to this business question, I know a lot of them, when they're done with their playing careers, they want to open up companies and things like that. Do you think for the most part they're prepared to enter the world of business, or like you said earlier, they should be taking advantage of some of the programs that the league's offering?
I think it just depends on who you are and as an athlete and how big your name is. Because a lot of times, if you're some of the bigger athletes and you're making a lot of money, people are going to want to partner with you, whether or not you're really good at it or bad, because you have a name, they know you can make money off that name, no matter what the product is. And maybe for some of the people who are really into what they're doing on the side and don't have as big as name on the court, they're going to have a little bit of trouble trying to secure deals and meet people and get people to come in and step in and help them move forward. So it just depends on who you are. And you have to be very, like I said, you have to be very careful, and you really have to love what you do. You have to have a passion for it. Like I said, if you're in it to try to make a quick buck, it's probably not going to happen. You didn't get to the NBA off of one hit or just, off of one game. You put a lot of time into it. Just like anything else, you got to put a lot of time in it. You have to mature it. You have to be experienced in it, and you have to know what you're doing.
So do you think your brand equity helped you a little bit as far as your record label, just because people already knew who you were?
I think in some instances, not as much as you would think, because I don't play on it that much.
Okay.
Of course, I want basketball has opened the window for me as far as music, but I don't just throw the basketball in your face. If we're meeting for the first time, I probably wouldn't tell you, I'm Walter McCarty, 10-year NBA veteran. I wouldn't tell you that. I would let the music speak for itself, and hopefully it would. And I'm all about one of those artists. I love my craft. I have a big passion for music, and I want you to see me for my music and not basketball. I want you to understand that this is something that I love very dearly, and I'm just not trying to make a quick buck and throw the basketball in your face and then, hey, you know what, I do music too.
Yeah, well, people will realize you're 6'11" and all that. And I got to tell you, in those video games, we would do like those fantasy drafts, where we would pick a team and we'd have draft players. You were always the steal of the draft, because I can get you like in the 12th round, but your skills were like amazing. I mean, it was like a 5th rounder.
Well, that's good. As I had a great career, and to me, numbers were never the issue, because we all have roles that we have to play on a team, and 90% of the NBA are role players, and unless it's your favorite team or your favorite top 2 teams, you probably couldn't name 2 or 3 players on each team, and there's 15 of them.
Right.
Right. So in order to stick in that league, you have to find a role and help your team win. And that's what my role was. Of course, I could score the ball and I could shoot the ball, but that wasn't my role. I played on the team with Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce, guys who got a lot of volume shots, and I had to find some place to stick. And a lot of people in Boston, they love the Tommy Heisen saying, "I love Walter." And that all came from Tommy appreciating the things that I did on the floor that didn't show up in the stat sheet. So he actually was giving recognition to players who may not put up the big numbers, but really help your team win in a big way.
Oh, yeah, definitely, in my opinion, one of the most underrated players. Now, a lot of people don't know, as we wrap up here, you were assistant coach with Rick Pitino, right? Mm-hmm. And you were also assistant coach with the Indiana Pacers. Mm-hmm. Now, I interviewed Cedric Sabalos on here earlier, and he has aspirations to be a GM one day. Do you have any aspirations like that? Is it coaching? Is it managing? Can you see yourself in any of those 2 positions?
I definitely can. It's for me, it's about it being the right spot in the right situation. I have daughters, 8 and 6 years old, and I want to be around to watch them grow up and play basketball, and doing music at the level that I do it, I could be around. I record in my studio at home, make music, and I travel a little bit to perform, but not as I'm not Chris Brown or somebody who has I'm not that type at that type level. So I basically get to create my own lifestyle. So I really enjoy that. But right now, it just has to be the great fit. I would love to coach. college basketball again at some point because I really enjoy teaching the younger guys and being around them and watching them develop and grow into young men. But it just has to be the right situation.
And could you see yourself in an executive position with an NBA team? I know the business experience you've gotten from running your record label. It certainly can prepare you for something like that.
Right. I definitely could. Just like I said, it has to be the right situation, and it has to be a situation where you can succeed. There's a lot of, just involved with the lockout. There's a lot of teams out there that really don't have too much chance of succeeding. They have a tough time just staying afloat just because of the market that they're in. So it just depends on the market, the owners, and I guess the players that you have. So.
And now, if anyone wants to get more information about you and your new album, is it Emotionally?
It is Emotionally. It's on iTunes. We're very excited. We're releasing the album again with some more music on it the first week of March. So we're excited about that. We're releasing it nationally, so people can find me on Facebook, WalterMcCarty.com, and at Twitter. At Walter McCarty on Twitter.
At Walter, follow him there. And any performances? Have you gone on tour yet, or?
We did. We had maybe 4 or 5 shows this past summer, which were really good. We were selling out, maybe going to facilities that hold maybe 1,500, 2,000 people, which is great for independent artists like myself. And we're probably looking to do some more tours this year. We're actually talking to some artists right now about doing a tour together, and hopefully it all works out. The numbers work out. We can do it.
Yeah, and I gotta give you props. I was looking at your videos on YouTube, your singing videos, your R&B videos, and a lot of your commenters, they don't even know you used to play basketball. So I give you props for that.
That's good, man. My thing is just making good music, man, having fun, enjoying life, and hopefully people who like the music enjoy it for what it is, and not just because they like the Celtics or they like Kentucky basketball.
Yeah. Well, wish you much success, Walter, and we'll have you back on one of these days when you got another album coming out and maybe some other artists to promote.
All right, anytime. You let me know.
All right, check it out, WalterMcCarty.com and DanSfera.com. Thanks a lot.